Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Otacast. I'm your host, Rei the Offbeat Otaku, and with me today is...
WeebTrashProductions, the most overrated anituber in existence.
Yes. Also, the biggest sad boy. And as I was a sad boy in that last video that I released, that totally was released before we recorded this, I thought I would bring him on to the show.
Yeah!
So, here on the Otacast, I bring on a random guest every week to talk about a random show every week of the guest choice. And what show did you pick, Weeb?
I picked Space Dandy because I was like, oh, this is a show I've been meaning to watch. Everyone thinks it's great, so I might as well do it. And I want to see if Spacey was right and that the second season's like a 5 out of 10, in which he is very wrong.
Yes. I would agree. I do think that the second season improves on the first. You know, it's interesting that you say that everyone thinks of it as great, because I feel like Space Dandy is actually a fairly underrated show.
Oh, I think like everyone definitely likes it, but like not many people are like, oh my god, this is a masterpiece. Like obviously there's Digi, but not many other people, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like it sort of suffers from Gurren Lagann syndrome, as I like to call it, where everybody likes it, but like most of the people don't see what's going on beneath the surface, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a fun, cool-looking popcorn action show. Watch it for that reason."
I mean, okay, you have to be literally retarded to think it's just a popcorn action show. Like, especially the episodes in season 2, where it's very obviously like some of the episodes are like these art house, like they resemble a lot of art house shows. And like, especially because there's like a Masaaki Yuasa directed episode in season 2, and like if you think that Masaaki Yuasa will work on just popcorn entertainment, you're literally retarded.
But Weeb.
Ping Pong is just a simple sports anime.
If you think ping pong is popcorn entertainment, you are also literally retarded.
Yeah. Well, you know, making fun of Snob is cool. So yes.
Yeah, making fun of there's always a great time to make fun of Snob, and making fun of Snob will never get old.
Yeah. So, I think we've gotten a little bit ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
So, in terms of just a bit of background, so Space Dandy is probably, I think it is the only show that I've covered so far that is episodic in nature.
Yeah.
So like the closest thing I could give to a synopsis is just the first 30 seconds of every episode before the opening. Space Dandy. He's a dandy guy in space. He combs the universe like he combs his pompadour, hunting down rare aliens, both friendly and not. With his valiant space crew, they will travel through space, or whatever.
Yeah, and like I think this one's great because a lot of episodic shows, like you have to kind of judge them like an episode by episode basis. But like each episode hits at least a little bit. There's not a bad episode in this entire series. When you compare it to most other episodic shows, you can say, there's like one here or there.
Yeah, like I think the lowest that I'd rate like a single episode of the show would be like a 6.
Yeah, me too. And that's like one episode.
Yeah. The one that I'm thinking of is episode 8 of season 1. That would probably be my least favorite episode.
Which one was that again?
Spoiler alert. That's the episode where they go to the planet and then there's the dog and then the dog dies, and then his fleas turn out to be like weirdly advanced aliens.
I like that, but it just kind of felt unfocused in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like it felt rushed in a way.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that Keiko Nobumoto, head screenwriter for Cowboy Bebop and Wolf's Rain, would have wrote that episode, except for the fact that a dog is so prominent in it.
Yeah, they should have just stuck with the dog for the entire episode.
Definitely. Although, all the episodes she wrote for season 2 were, like, fucking amazing, so she redeemed herself.
Of course.
Speaking of which, staff. I think everybody knows about this show's 2 directors because they've both gone on to do equally massive shows, or did massive shows beforehand. Shinichiro Watanabe is the sort of chief director of the show, the guy who oversaw everything. He is, of course, well known for Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, and slightly less well known for Terror in Resonance and Kids on the Slope. And the other director, the guy who was, I think, who probably more of it was like his vision, was Shingo Natsume, who would go on to direct One Punch Man in 2015, and a show that oddly few people talk about, Aka, aka Aka 13, which came out earlier this year.
And yeah, you can kind of see their 2 directorial styles come together, because it is very much a Watanabe show. But it's also like you also have that kind of One Punch Man feel to it, a very like wacky high energy feel to it, which is something I think many Watanabe shows would benefit from, and this one in particular, for what it's trying to be.
Yeah, I think something like Champloo is as wacky as it needs to be, but I feel like for this show it's very fitting.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing about this show that makes it so good is that it sort of uses these, like, big action scenes and, like, big comedic moments to sort of make some of the sci-fi concepts, which some of the stuff they cover throughout the show, especially in season 2, is like some pretty high concept stuff, more digestible to the audience.
Yeah, but like it makes it more digestible, but it also doesn't feel like you're being pandered to or you're being babied as an audience. Like, you feel like they explain it in a simple way, but you still feel like you get the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're being talked down to, right?
Yeah. And I really like that about the show.
Yeah. Now, the show has, like, way too many scriptwriters and episode directors for me to credit all of them. Talking a bit more about staff here. But I will mention a few. I already mentioned Keiko Nobumoto. Shinichiro Watanabe himself wrote a lot of episodes for the show. Masaaki Yuasa wrote a lot of episodes for the show. But probably the most notable screenwriter on the show, aside from that, is Dai Sato, the guy who wrote Samurai Champloo, Eureka 7, and Ergo Proxy.
That's a lot of elitist clout right there.
Yeah. This show has a ridiculous amount of elitist clout for a show that is oddly kind of disrespected by a lot of elitists.
Yeah, and I don't get that. Maybe it's because it's, like, colorful and new and has boob jokes.
Yeah, I think... Here's the thing. Every time that Watanabe announces a new project, people are like, oh fuck, it's the next Cowboy Bebop. It's like Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop in the Edo era. Terror in Resonance. This one's got the dark tone back.
This one has Cowboy Bebop in 9/11.
And 9/11, everyone's favorite anime. Kids on the Slope brings the jazz music from Bebop. This show has the space setting for Bebop. Everyone wants the next Bebop. But Watanabe doesn't want to make the next Bebop.
Because there can't be a next Bebop. There can only be one Bebop. If there was another Bebop to be made, it would destroy the whole thing thematically, and I would kill myself.
Yeah. Like, they made a sequel movie. I think that they don't really need to go any further than that.
Yeah.
Wait, I said a sequel movie. It's more like a midquel.
Yeah, it's like just another episode.
And due to the show's episodic nature, I'm not gonna drag out the staff section like I did on the last one. I'm trying to keep this one pretty quick. I'll mention that some of the episode directors that were brought on, we mentioned Masaki Yuasa, of course, Sayo Yamamoto, who just went on to direct Yuri on Ice last year.
And also Michiko Tuhachin.
Yes.
A good show I never finished.
And also had a lot of involvement from fucking Watanabe. And one of the guys, I'm trying to make sure I get the right page on now. Kiyotaka Oshiyama, who went on to direct Flip Flappers last year. Hey. And while he's technically only credited as a storyboard artist, I'm pretty sure Goro Taniguchi, director of Code Geass, directed episode 7 of season 1.
And Lelouch was in one of the episodes of this series.
Yeah, well, are you talking about Johnny, pink-haired dude in season 2? Well, he was in 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was like he was probably the only like one-off character to like reappear in one other episode.
And when he reappeared, I was so happy.
So
happy to see my friend Gay Lelouch back.
Gay Lelouch. Yeah, Gay Guitarist Lelouch, or GGL for short. And you know how we can transition pretty well into aesthetics?
Yeah.
This soundtrack is godly, and the main composer was none other than Yoko Kanno, well known for such OSTs as Cowboy Bebop, Darker Than Black, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, and Wolf's Rain, to name a few.
Yeah. That should be a good sign.
I didn't even mention that she did 2 other Watanabe shows with Terror and Resonance and Kids on the Slope. Probably, but like, yeah, it really is amazing because like Studio Bones is already a pretty good sign just because they're such a reliable studio when it comes to aesthetic quality.
Yeah.
But then you look at the staff list and it really is, well, you can see the central voices were Watanabe and Natsume's. You can see that the show was this almost like playground for a ton of different artists within the anime industry. I think that alone warrants a lot of respect for this show, from me anyway.
Yeah, and it makes this show seem a lot more like special.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that the series is so eclectic really helps with the whole like spacefaring adventurous feel that it goes for a lot of the time.
And the show like has a lot of room to experiment. Like every episode is different. There's so many episodes that include like just like resetting the universe through fucking explosions and shit. And it's like it's the coolest thing.
And like it's just so cool. And like really I think that even though there's so many different aesthetics that kind of go into the various episodes of this.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it all feels very cohesive somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know in what way, but even though you have, like, all the weird, like, aliens and such, there's still a bit of a cohesion to everything.
Yeah.
And then, really, I think that this show might be one of the best looking anime ever made.
Oh, definitely. I'd put it. I think it's probably my favorite show aesthetically. Like, other than, I guess, Little Experiments Lane and Kill la Kill. But yeah, it's like even like when the show breaks away from its usual poppy aesthetic, it still pulls it off very well.
Oh yeah, like any of the episodes with Yuasa's involvement look totally different, but like there's something so dandy about them.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. And like I think in general this show is the kind of show where like you can tell that there was just so much heart that was put into it.
Oh, definitely. I kind of underestimated the show going in because I was like, this I don't know. Doesn't seem like it'll have the same magic as Shampoo or Bebop, and yeah, I was kind of skeptical going into it. But then I saw that like each episode and everything had like so much heart put into it, and like you can tell everyone had like fun producing it.
Yeah, and like there's it's hard to put into words just kind of like the aesthetic perfection here. Like, granted, not every episode is as well animated as some of the others. Like, the penultimate episode is not like a Sakuga fest like the first episode of season 1 was.
Yeah.
But like, even that episode looks pretty cool in its own right.
Yeah.
But yeah. And yeah, I think I also kind of went into this show with not like low expectations, but kind of like 7 out of 10 expectations.
Me too.
I was like, yeah, this is going to be cool and fun, but like, you know,
it's going to be another One Punch Man.
Yep, it's gonna have some good sauce and some good meatballs, but the noodles are gonna be real stale.
Yeah.
I want that spaghetti metaphor to become a meme.
Do it. Make it a meme.
Well, that's the audience's duty, not mine.
Audience, make it a meme.
There you go. And like, I think it's also just like the fact that the show is very like wacky and kind of and comedic that people are kind of more likely to dismiss it.
Oh yeah. Because anime fans can't just laugh at something for once.
Well, they can, but like, you know, Roger Vanderweed, who does not talk about anime but instead talks about Sonic, has said a couple times before in that fandom that there's kind of a war of comedy versus drama. And I think that could really be said across basically all art and entertainment that is being put out.
Yeah.
And I think, like, it's just kind of, people kind of see, like, oh, well, if it was made to make me laugh, it wasn't made to make me feel these other things. Like, it's kind of seen as divorced from the other stuff, in a way.
Yeah. I don't really, sometimes I feel that way. Like, I will dismiss a lot of comedy shows, but then I'll get something like a recent favorite, I guess, Lucky Star, which like I didn't expect for me going into it. It'd resonate with me so much. But like, I think comedy can like be just as valid of a genre and can resonate like just as valid as an emotion as any other emotions. And what Space Dandy does is take dramatic and comedic and blend it together perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this show, that is one of the other things that makes it so notable, is the fact that it'll blend drama and comedy really well. I do think that at times it'll slip up a bit. Like, sometimes a serious thing will be going on, but then, I guess, like, one sort of minor problem that I had with the show was that, like, sometimes it kind of felt like it didn't know whether or not it wanted Dandy to kind of always have comedic reactions, or, like, kind of have his reactions be, like, split half and half. And sometimes they'd go for one, and I wouldn't feel like it would be quite fitting. Probably the biggest example of that would be episode 8 of season 2. Which is one of my favorite episodes of the show. But there's a scene where they're talking about, like, the meaning of life and death and shit, and he's like, nah, man, I don't want to be dead, because then I can't go to boobies.
Yeah, but I think there's some sort of charm to that.
There is.
Though it is a bit distracting at times. I think it adds a lot more than it subtracts.
Yeah, that's what I'd say too. I just say that it does occasionally subtract.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really is quite the dandy show. Yeah. Weeb, say something. I'm spacing out.
Oh, fuck. Space Dandy is the best show of all time. Actually, this is like, this show actually became one of my new favorites. Just because of, like, because at the end of the entire show, it gave me this feeling that K-On! Gave me. I'm like, wow, I had like a really fun time. I didn't really feel like I watched a show, but rather like experienced something with friends, because I'm an otaku with 0 friends, and I hate, and there's very little friends I have in real life I hate and want to kill. So when I have like cool friends like Space Dandy and the other faggots, I'm like, yeah, dude.
Space Dandy and the other faggots. That should have been the name of his band in episode 7 of season 2.
Yeah, it's
not Dropkicks, spelt with an X. That's the name for a fighting game. But yeah, I actually do think that if I were to make like a top 15 or a top 20, I do think that the second season would probably make it in there. I do think season 1 is a bit weaker overall.
Yeah, me too, but it's still great. I think season 2 just brought out all the potential Space Dandy can have, or had, and yeah.
Season 2 kind of ramped everything up to 11.
Yeah, like almost every episode was this like weird new experimental thing. Like there was definitely an increase of like trippier, more out there episodes.
Yeah, and like I felt like the dramatic episodes were more dramatic, the comedic episodes were more comedic. Like there's some of the episodes in season 2 are like dealing with like universal or like planetary destruction going on, but then other ones will just kind of be like parodying like a genre of movie or something like that. Yeah. But it all fits together really well.
Sometimes you get both, like the one with the living JoJo reference.
Yeah, true. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, you know.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, in like this show, since it's episodic, it can just change its tone whenever the fuck without it being too jarring.
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, pretty much the majority of the tone shifts work really well. The vast majority, I should say.
Yeah, the vast majority. There's some where I was like, you kind of took me out of the mood. But then you and me just kind of memed it away. Memed all our frustrations away.
Meme your problems away.
Yeah, that's how you solve all your problems. Like you want to kill yourself. You go to school, your teacher fucks you in the ass every day, and then you're just like, dude, I just need a shit post about this, and that's how 4chan got started.
Yeah.
Anyway, Space Dandy.
I think that's gotta be the fucking backstory of 4chan.
It's also the backstory of Dandy.
But Dandy doesn't have a backstory. His backstory changes every episode. Maybe we'll see that one in season 3.
Oh no, there can't be a season 3. It already had the best ending of anything ever.
Yeah, no. I would not want to see a season 3, despite the fact that the ending sort of hints that it would be possible.
Yeah, it definitely can be possible, though I just don't think it's needed.
What if they, said they were gonna make a season 3, but then when they made the show, it was actually just the original show again, but with, a few things added to it, because...
Holy shit, that would be genius.
Yeah, because of the way the show ends, the universe is, reset, and then, the only thing that's different is that Dandy is into legs now.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty great.
Dandy is a leg guy, which is patrician as fuck. It's almost as patrician as thighs.
Well, thighs are part of the leg.
Yeah, true.
So, I think that's more patrician, because it encompasses all of the aspects.
Well, Space Dandy is the most patrician show in existence.
It's pretty patrician. I was gonna say earlier, I probably should have said this, right after you said this instead of, 5 minutes later, but, when you had mentioned that you kind of felt like these were, your friends and they were gone now,
mm-hmm.
I do think I sort of got that vibe from this show, but first, obligatory Watanabe show comparison. I don't think I felt that quite as much as I did with Shampoo.
I think I got this more than Shampoo. I mean, I definitely felt that way with Shampoo, but I didn't really feel them as much.
I kind of felt them more. I felt like they were more grounded characters, and with their adventures were basically confirmed to have come to an end there, whereas with Space Dandy the adventures are still continuing.
Yeah, and I guess it's not I miss them. I don't think it's that feeling. I just this is kind of moving on. Knowing, not it's kind of just I don't know how to explain this. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do think that I get what you're getting at, though.
Yeah.
So, you wanna dive into how what episodes are some of our favorites?
Yeah, and let's do season 2, episode 8, or whatever, the one with the death.
The one with the death. That one is called A World with No Sadness, baby.
Yes, that was probably my favorite episode.
It was definitely up there for me. It was very strong all around.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it felt it felt kind of like a spiritual successor to Angel's Egg.
Oh fuck! I still need to watch Angel's Egg.
Watch it, like it feels like a lighter version of Angel's Egg, like not like really well, I guess thematically, I guess, but like it just has that feeling. It just kind of puts that feeling into you. It's a very dementia episode, which is something I really like. I like things that make me feel like I just saw a dream. I like dream-like ethereal things.
Yeah, those are always really cool. And I think episode 8 probably did that. I think it was probably like the second best episode at doing that. I think the most dreamlike one was probably episode 9 of season 1.
Oh yeah.
That one with all the plants.
That's probably my second favorite.
I think there's a few others that I like a bit more than that one. But yeah, episode 8 of season 2. Let's get back to that. I think I really like. I feel like that's one of like the most cohesive episodes of the show, because it kind of feels like, because everything kind of feels disconnected at first, but then you sort of all see it like coalesce as it keeps going.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking like, you're like, wait, why does food randomly disappear? Is this just a repetitive joke? And then it's revealed that like Dandy is dead. and so therefore it wouldn't matter, and they're just like trying to get him to accept his death and all that. Or like, you're like, why does everything look like a weird Alice in Wonderland Kirby game? And
why
then,
is he resting in a coffin on a giant red egg?
Yes, but then like, not with that one, but with like the creature designs and like the way they look, you're like, oh, I can see that, because like this is like the weird world of like a little girl.
Yeah. And I kind of want like a film or like an entire series out of that episode, based on that episode. So
many of the episodes I think could be like really cool films.
Yeah, me too. But like that's the thing about Dandy. Like, it leaves you desiring a lot more. Like, the episode still feels completed. It still feels like it served its purpose. But like with a lot of episodes, like the 10 out of 10 episodes, you're like, man, I really want like an entire film off this.
Yeah.
Like episode 5 of season 1 with the lolly. That one was great.
Yes. That was one of the better episodes. Like, in terms of story, I think it, because like episode 5 of season 1 is kind of like episode 10 of season 2. Both of them are two of the less strong episodes visually, because they just kind of stick with the show's normal art style. Yeah. But both of them tell very personal and emotional stories that are very tightly paced.
Yeah. And especially episode 5 of season 1, it managed to build this relationship between the girl and Dandy in like one episode without it feeling rushed or forced or ham-fisted.
Yeah. And like, it's just so sweet about it. It's like, you know, it's a trope that we've seen before, the sort of like the disgruntled older figure like taking in the naive girl. We've seen that before, but it does it so well. And then like you get the montage especially, and like that montage builds up the relationship better than like some movies do in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and like I was like so amazed when I saw that, and like now none of these tropey dumb movies have an excuse to be lazy and gay because Space Dandy did it better in a montage.
Yeah. And the same can be said about episode 10 of season 2. We've seen like the sort of two characters who don't get along pretending to be a couple, and then like eventually realizing that they do have feelings for each other. We've seen that trope before, but like with that one, there's another montage that just builds it up so well, and then there's the final, not really montage, the final scene is almost just kind of like a music video.
Yeah.
Of where like that kind of perfectly shows the resolution of the whole thing.
And that like had like that episode had like an ending that you don't really see. You don't like they don't get together by the end.
Yeah. They just sort of they're destined to be apart, and then when they see each other again, they're just sort of back into their normal roles. There's this sort of cyclical nature to everything in Dandy.
Yeah, it's very cyclical, and it's like life is pretty cyclical too.
Yeah,
And that's
whether it be
pretty dandy.
Whether it be something like that, which, you know, that's more just kind of cyclical in like a normal, in our own lives kind of way, or like the two villain guys dying every episode, which is kind of more played for laughs, or the series ending, which, you know, totally just takes that and runs with it.
Yeah, and it's just I like the cyclical nature of it, or as Spacey would call it, cyclical themes.
Yeah, bro.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. I can't really analyze it indefinitely right now at the top of my head, but it's cool.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because I'm scrolling through the episode list on Wikipedia now, and I just looked at a fucking episode 4, and I was like, holy shit, there was that awesome zombie episode that I totally forgot about.
Holy shit, I forgot about that too. That was the funniest shit.
I know. That one's another great like comedy drama mix, because it starts out with like a straightforward kind of like alien sort of plot. Every cartoon has to have a zombie episode. I guess we're gonna have the obligatory zombie episode, but then you see everyone turns into a zombie. But then the entire universe becomes zombies.
Yeah, it kind of like it kind of shows like how everyone's equal in death, and because like there's like no more conflict, and it's not like. It's really funny how it presents it. It's
downright satirical. It doesn't really play it like cynically, like only death is the great equalizer. It's more
that's not how Dandy is.
Exactly. It's kind of like, you know, if everyone was dead, it's kind of like I can see like you're sitting in a room with someone and they're like, you know, if everyone was dead, would people still be fighting wars? And then you're like, holy shit, dude.
Bro, dude, like, sick.
Seriously, bro.
Then you kick him out of the house for being a faggot. But also, this episode just does that, like, mundane question you always ask your friends, and does it very well.
Oh, yeah. And just in general, it has a nice absurdist vibe to it, with like the fact that the key to stop deteriorating is to eat Greek yogurt.
Or it's like there's that one guy who's like killing everyone, and it's like, it's okay, it's not illegal to kill someone who's already
dead. Yeah. It's downright absurdist. It's amazing. And the other thing that's so great about that episode is the use of the narrator. How the fuck have we not mentioned the narrator yet?
The narrator, who is literally God, which makes it all work.
Yeah. It really does, because just the fact that the narrator knows about all these things, that it justifies the omniscient narrator trope within the story.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then the ending, it works into that. It's the greatest.
Oh yeah, but just in general, I love his like flippant attitude about everything. How like an episode, it really is demonstrated perfectly, just like in episode 1, when he's like, the Tricro and Gogol empires have been at war for 1,000 years. I thought you might want to know that, seeing as no one has mentioned it yet, or something like that.
It's like we've always had the sarcastic, flippant narrator, but it's just Danny does something that makes it so great.
Yeah. Dandy takes like dozens of tropes, probably hundreds, from like across everything. It's taking anime tropes, it's taking Western movie tropes, it's taking fucking everything, and then just mixing them all together, and it knows which ones work, it knows which ones doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it does tropey bullshit extremely well.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do tropey bullshit, you might as well do it uniquely, or just very well, like Dandy, which they do it both. Actually, they do both.
Yeah, and I've seen anime called a pulp medium before. I think Dandy is sort of a great example of why that can be a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause like the times that I've heard that used, it's sort of like in a semi-derogatory way, kind of like, oh, whatever. It's like, aside from the rare hidden gem, there isn't really all that much to it. But I think Dandy shows that just playing with the tropes and doing interesting things and building upon this vast and dense meta-narrative that is anime is something special in its own right.
Yeah. Dandy, just, I don't know how they do it. I can't, like, unless I rewatch it, I can't really explain how they get all the little details right to craft it into this huge meta narrative.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much. You can just. I feel like this show really is kind of like a passing of the torch from Shinichiro Watanabe and some of the older talent like that into the hands of these future directors like Shingo Natsume or Sayo Yamamoto, that just this torch passing kind of gives it this massive feel to it.
Yeah, and Dandy does have a massive epic feel most of the time. Like, it being in space will inherently give it that, but also having it being wacky and zany gives it even more, makes it even more grand and epic. And even in a behind the scenes context, it can do that as well.
Yeah. And like sometimes even just like one great example of like that torch passing would be I very briefly mentioned music earlier, But I thought I saw this little piece of trivia here that like on Mal that said its production involved as many as 70 animation creators and 20 musical artists as collaborators, with Watanabe insisting that artists could only use pre-1984 musical styles. And
That's lit.
yeah, that's another thing about the show and how it blends like a retro feel with a modern feel, and it does it very well. And like sometimes there will be a music choice that's like just fucking weird. Like there's that one reggae song that shows up in like two of the episodes, and you're like, and you hear it and you're kind of taken aback at first. You're like, what's this like funky reggae track doing in like this touching scene? But then you're like, no wait, this fits perfectly. Holy shit, they're geniuses.
Yeah, and like Watanabe shows have always had a reputation for having great music that fits well, but I think Space Dandy takes it to a whole new level.
I think now the only other Watanabe show that I've seen so far, because I am the ultimate pleb, is Shampoo. And that's not to say that Shampoo is like the pleb tier show. I just mean that because I am a pleb, I've only seen one other of his shows. And I'd say that I think both Dandy and Shampoo's soundtracks are kind of like on par. I think
guess because like Space Dandy, like music wise, I think is more diverse.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get at, is sort of like shows like Shampoo, or this is from the impression that I've gotten, Bebop are more kind of centered around one style to go with the like themes and aesthetic of the show, whereas Dandy, because it encompasses so much, the musical style also has so much.
Yeah, and I guess like because it's so much, I like it more than Shampoo.
Yeah, I'm still planning on rewatching Shampoo, you guys. I promise. And when I do,
Bebop, you cunt.
no, I do scripted videos about shows that I rewatch. I say after not making a scripted video about one show exclusively.
Making literally one analysis video that exists currently.
Hey, remember, when this is released, the semi-analytical scripted video will be out.
Oh yeah, continuity. We're in the next episode of the official Rei lore.
Oh yeah, bro. I'm doing some Memento shit, you know? Telling this story out of order. I'm a real Christopher Nolan.
Oh god.
No, not at all. Although we both seem to like our noir aesthetics.
Yeah. And also, okay. You want to talk about the characters and how much Dandy is like the greatest character in existence? Like, I think he's like a Kamina-esque figure for me, because I want to be Dandy. I love his attitude towards everything in life. I love his go-with-the-flow attitude, and I want to encompass that in everything.
Dandy is a great character. I definitely, I think there's two types of main character title things. There's main character title things where, like, the main character doesn't actually like matter all that much and they just sort of did it because they felt like it. And then there's main character titles because the main character really does like kind of steal the show in a way.
Yeah. But yeah, Dandy kind of steals the show, but it doesn't feel obnoxious.
Well, yeah, he's not like a Mary Sue or anything.
Oh no, he's the complete opposite of a Mary Sue. Like even though he has like this motto of like, go with the flow, and I is good. He does have times where he's sad, and he does have time like he feels like a legitimate human that exists.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing about Dandy, is that he has this very boisterous kind of attitude to him, but you always kind of feel like it might just be like not really an act per se, but that like it's not the entirety of his personality. You always get the idea that there's more to him than that.
Yeah, and there definitely is. Like as the show goes on, more and more is revealed about him, like his relationship with a 4-dimensional deity.
Yeah. You know, that was an interesting episode because Digi really hyped that one up, and then I almost felt like they didn't go far enough with the different dimensions.
Yeah, but I think it like paid off in the ending.
Yeah, it is still a fascinating concept either way. The idea that like fucking 3-dimensional beings like us, if we went into space, we could interact with 2-dimensional beings and 4-dimensional beings.
I want to live in the Space Dandy universe, but then I remember I will die.
Yeah.
Because they die like every other episode.
The very first episode ends with everybody dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one minor problem that I have with the show, is that Dandy kind of steals the show from a lot of the other characters. Yeah. Like it is, like, for instance, Meow, the cat dude. I feel like he gets a pretty good amount of focus in season 1, but I feel like he kind of like ends up getting sidelined for a lot of season 2.
Yeah, but I felt like they kind of not exhausted, but I think they kind of utilized his character enough in season 1.
Yeah, but like he's kind of billed as like one of the characters of like, you know, like the power trio of the Aloha Oi.
Yeah, that's true. Danny did steal a lot of, like, in season 2, it was much more Dandy than any of the other characters, especially in the later portion. But yeah. I think that kind of came around again in the ending.
Yeah, that was one very nice thing about the final episode, is that, like, you know, all the side characters got a lot of focus in season 1, like QT getting the final episode to himself.
Yeah, that episode was great.
Yeah, I loved that one. And I loved how, speaking of the ending, I love how it was one of the examples of the Peronium. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Kind of tying all the episodes together. And one thing I noticed is that they use a clip from the most QT centric episode and a clip from the most Meow centric episode.
Oh shit!
When they do that in the ending,
that's some pretty rad details.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, like all the side characters feel just as real, and even like the one-off characters feel just as like fleshed out as the main characters, which is what Watanabe I feel does best, making every episode feel alive and real with characters that feel alive and real.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say that all of the characters feel real necessarily, but I like all of them nonetheless and think that they're interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. But I do feel like they have enough like detail put into them to make them at least interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, even someone like fucking Dr. Gel, who's like a joke villain for a lot of the series, in the finale, we see like more sides to even him.
Yeah, and the Banana Man.
Yep, the Banana Man.
Who has this twist at the end that I kind of felt was unnecessary. Like, I was just like, eh.
Yeah, I'd actually agree with that.
Like it just felt like out. It felt very out of place in Space Dandy, though it did more than make up for it.
Yeah, it felt a bit out of place, and then like it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it just kind of like introduced it, and then it went away completely. Like it didn't even have a point. Though there may be something I'm missing. In like maybe that was like intentional for like the general message of Dandy, though I'm not seeing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that,
I'm looking through some of these like one-off characters just like on the TV tropes page, and it's like, yeah, there really are a lot of interesting characters, even if they only show up for one episode.
Yeah, like the blonde lolly.
Yeah, Adelie.
That's her name.
Yeah. Real talk. I was legitimately disappointed when we saw the apartment that like she was trying to get to in episode 5 of season 1 and episode 12 of season 2, but then she doesn't show up. I
wasn't very disappointed because like during episode 11 and 12 of season 2 during the group watch, I was just drifting in and out of sleep.
Yep.
And all those 2 episodes, I still remember the majority of it, though they're a bit hazy to me. Now that I think about it, I'm really pissed.
Yeah. It was kind of like, oh man, you couldn't have brought back like the best side character.
You couldn't have put her like at least in like the jury, like in the crowd. At least do something like that so I can see her again, the best character in anything.
Especially because she says that she's gonna show back up.
Yeah, like that was just a waste of a potentially good foreshadowing.
Yeah. That's what we gotta write the fanfic for.
Yeah, I'm fucking fanfic. Because those always work. Like Ava fanfics.
Well, they don't always work, but they can work.
Yeah.
I bet somebody has made a really good Space Dandy fanfic about Adelie and Space Dandy meeting up when she's all grown up, and it's like, oh man, we can let you join the crew now. I bet somebody made a good fanfic out of that.
Yeah, if I'd forgive everything if I'd want a season 3 if it was that. If Adelie joined the crew.
Yeah, it would be just like the show that literally everyone thinks is gonna be perfect. Fooly Cooly 2.
Oh no.
I actually am excited for it though, don't kill me.
I don't have opinion. I love it and I hate it. It's gonna be the best worst thing. I'm gonna kill. I just wish it didn't exist. I don't like it existing. Anyway, Space Dandy is the best show of all time, despite like minor things we've been unfairly nitpicking throughout this entire podcast.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think most of the audience can tell that that we do really like this show.
Oh yeah, we have our gripes, but the show is really good, and we recommend it.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Fucking, there's still like 1,000,001 episodes that we haven't like said anything about, like episode 6 and 7 of season 1, episode 6, which had like a pretty silly but satirical. It kind of like episode 4, which kind of did the absurdism on like death being an equalizer.
Was that like the war one?
That was the war one.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Everything from the speech patterns, which was pretty creative.
Yeah, they talked like fucking lolcats.
Yeah,
it was great.
And then it's like, oh, this is a war. It's bad. It just ends up killing yourself. It just ends up destroying everyone. And then it had that cool surfing through space.
Fuck yeah! That was a better Eureka 7 sequel than Eureka 7 AO. That was such a fucking beautifully animated scene. I wish I could just have that scene playing in the background of my life at all times. Fucking space surfing.
Yeah, I agree. That was the best scene of anything ever.
And then we got episode 7 coming in directly after that, and was kind of almost like a Speed Racer parody sort of thing.
But then it just ended with Space Dandy becoming a god.
And then fucking Space Dandy breaks the light speed barrier or whatever, and then he comes back millions of years into the future and he's worshipped. It's holy fuck, what if that happened in our world?
Dude, when I watched that episode, I was freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
I was just I was confused. I was a lost child. It was like when I watched End of Ava for the first time when I was a wee lad, and I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck, but this is sick. And now I'm like, dude, this is sick.
See, the episode where I was like, I don't know what the fuck, but it's really sick, was episode 11 of season 1. That was the one that was all about memories.
Which one?
The one with the book aliens.
Oh yeah.
What? That one was so weird. I loved it.
That one kind of felt like it felt like a dream. That one felt very ethereal as well.
Oh yeah.
It didn't. That episode barely felt real.
Right above that, how could episode 10, the one where we learn of Meow's backstory and there's the Groundhog Day loop thing.
Oh yeah.
That one is a really cool one.
And then you see the calendar. Oh, it didn't change, but that becomes a major plot point later on.
Yeah. And I said that Meow got sidelined in season 2, and I was like, but now I'm thinking about it, it's he had a good arc in that episode.
Yeah. And he isn't just an annoying faggot. He's actually a good character.
Yeah. He kind of feels this sort of responsibility to his family, but he also wants to kind of pursue his own dreams.
Yeah. That's
a good relatable struggle.
It's XD relatable, but also really heartwarming.
Alright, I'm scrolling through the list here. I'm coming to the most important question.
Yes!
Who is the cuter girl? Adelie from episode 5 of season 1, or Freckles from episode 4 of season 2?
I can't decide. I guess Freckles, actually. Freckles. The Lolly is I Daughteru, but then the Freckles one is waifu.
They are both valuable treasures.
Yeah, they're both insanely... I need to protect them.
Yes, must protect. But, that episode itself, episode 4, that one was great. Parodying, friggin' high school anime tropes, but also, American teen film tropes. That was a great episode. So many great episodes. Episode 7 of season 2 was great.
Every episode
is great.
why I'm like, why isn't there more shows like this? But I'm like, there should be only one Dandy.
Yes, I agree.
There should be only one Space Dandy, and any show that tries to imitate this should be killed. And I don't know why this is like not a more critically acclaimed show. I don't know why people are like regarding it as like a classic. And as you said before, it's like, well, it's like a comedy show, and people take comedy shows less seriously, I guess. But I think it has enough for people to be like, this should be like in like just be like named with like Ava in Cowboy Bebop and. Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I don't think I'd put it on the same level as Ava, but I don't think I'd put anything on the same level as Ava.
Yeah, as a gigantic, biased, gay Ava fag, nothing will beat Ava.
Bro.
But I'm just saying, like, it should be a classic like it.
Yeah, I think this show is a prime example of people kind of disregarding the great elements underneath the popcorn entertainment for like, the show had this type of humor I didn't like, so it sucks.
Fuck those guys. Fuck elitists. They're gay.
Yeah. Every show is a good show.
If you ignore the bad parts and focus on the everything's
a 10 out of 10!
Exactly. Thanks, Demo. Thanks for finally coming back from the grave known as Twitch.tv.
Holy shit, is that Demo floating in my room? Oh, thanks, Demo. Anyway, Space Dandy is the best show.
Yes. Let's see. How long have we been going now? 1 hour and 6 minutes.
What the fuck? It's been that long?
Yeah.
I thought we started like 15 minutes ago.
Nah, bro. Oh, hey, do you know what we haven't touched on?
What?
The dub.
Oh yeah, we watched it dubbed, and it's the first time I watched a show dubbed in a long time, and it was the best dub. It enhanced the show, I believe, because I don't think the humor would really hit if I watched it subbed.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people have like really gotten mad at Funimation in recent years, but this one was they knew, they were like, this is a show by like some of the most respected people in the industry. We got to give it the best dub that we can.
And like making QT's voice auto-tuned, one of the best decisions they can ever make.
Yeah. I've heard some people say that Dandy himself has like kind of too silly of a voice in English, but I wouldn't say so. I think it hits a nice balance between like the comedic and dramatic sides of his character.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah. But if you watch the show subbed, more power to you.
Just know that you should be killed by the Demolition D ghost in my room. What do you think, Demolition D? Yeah, faggot, stop streaming.
How do you do that, Weeb?
What do you mean? That's Demo.
Oh, right, Demo. Oh, I just realized. One criticism of the show that we didn't address is people complaining about continuity. I think it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's not. Space Dandy is not supposed to be a continuity-filled show. If you want, it's. If you watch the entire show, you'd realize it's not supposed to be that.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that a lot of people just watch the first season, and so they didn't get the context at the end that justified like the kind of wonky continuity.
Yeah.
Because when you learn that context, you're like, this is even better than if they just outright had no continuity or had all continuity.
Yeah, it's even better. It plays with continuity so well, and it's something that I don't think has been done in any show.
Yeah.
But
It's having every fucking. I can't do a Snob impression, but Snob said like it being in like an alternate universe every episode is lazy.
Yeah, I remember that, and it's like, in what way is that lazy? If
Like,
anything, that
like,
takes
before
effort.
Yeah, it takes more effort. Like before I watched it, I was like, that does sound kind of like a cop out. But then I actually watched the show, and I was like, wait, Snob is being gay again.
When is he not? But yeah, I think I mean, we could talk about this show for like hours, but like
Yeah.
I think that that's all I really have to say in
Me
terms
too.
of the big points. I think everyone should watch the show, and everyone should analyze it, because there's a ton.
It's Rick and
there.
Morty for patricians.
We didn't. I've barely watched any of that, so I don't know.
I've watched the first season. It was pretty good.
Nice. But I don't respect the Gaijin trash, so I didn't watch it. I like how that's like half a meme at this point.
Fuck Rick and Morty. Anyway, yeah, this show is obviously great. I'm glad I picked it. I didn't expect to get a new favorite out of this.
Yeah, I think we both saw it as a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, but I was like, man, this is so much more than I expected. It just goes to show I should never listen to anybody but myself and watch absolutely everything.
Yeah, don't listen to the critics. Form your own opinion.
Stop watching Digibro.
Stop watching seasonals so that you can be relevant and find something cool.
Actually, stop watching seasonal shows. That's the most retarded thing in existence.
Yeah. Well, on that note, so as we've already said like 5 times, we both highly recommend this show.
Yeah, okay.
And with everything said, I have been Rei.
And I've been WeebTrashProductions.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time on the Otacast.
Ah!